Hey folks, it's Dustin DePirac coming to you live here from Madison Square Garden, where a lot of people probably really want me to leave because it's 1:20 in the morning and I just sent my story like 5 minutes ago because this game ended like midnight. Um, but anyway, huge, gigantic win for Indiana tonight. This is the one they really needed to come out and beat a major program. Do it obviously in what they call the world's most famous arena, and to do it the way they did it. I mean, this so many times I guess Indiana had been up or at least close going into the second half of a game against some of the better teams they played against, Ole Miss, against Mason, Maryland in some of those games, and only to fold and kind of let it get away from them in the second half. Tonight, obviously, they did not do that. Built up a huge, an 18-point lead. Saw it start to slip away when Pitt was coming at him with some full court pressure. Allowed the Panthers to get back within 8 points. But really stepped it up down the stretch, especially in the last 2 minutes. Friedel Jones hit a huge monster shot in the lane. A couple more guys came up with free throws, some huge rebounds, and they found a way to get it done. Basically, Tom Crean said that there was just so much, of a progression of maturity and in confidence tonight. He said it also because it came along a lot in practice this week. He said there was just a major step up, some major improvement from Maryland. And it was obvious tonight. I mean, they played much better, probably defensively, than they have all year. They were in a 2-3 zone. Held Pitt, which isn't necessarily a really good offensive team, but it's still obviously got some athletes, got some really good players, to 31.4% shooting. Which were especially effective in the second half, about right around 30.8. Really gave the Panthers some problems. They were excellent offensively as well tonight. Only turned the ball over 3 times in the first half, 12 times in the game, with most of those coming against the full court pressure that Pitt was bringing. Shot 52% in the second half. Just really made a lot of smart decisions. 40 points in the paint, continued just to kind of pound the ball in there. They weren't taking dumb shots, weren't making stupid turnovers. Just seemed to really execute everything well. And with everything they did, they seemed to just get more and more confident. Really started to look like, especially midway through the second half, they didn't really believe that they were going to win this one. They really believed like they belonged in this game. It didn't seem like they didn't get nervous. They didn't panic. They didn't think, oh, we shouldn't be here. We shouldn't be this close. They really believed it. Especially for the second half on. That they were gonna finish, and Coach Green also said that, especially in the huddles, down the stretch, even when Pitt brought it back to 8 points and down to 6 points, they kept talking about finishing. And he said there was leadership in the huddle tonight. He said it was player led, which is really a big step for this program, because Tom had said a lot of times that right now the leadership is very much coach led. That no one is really stepping up, not so much calling them out for it, but saying these guys hadn't been here. There's nobody to come out and say, this is how we win at Indiana. This is how you do things at Indiana. Because, like I said, they just hadn't been here. And somebody was going to eventually have to take that step up, but he knew it was going to take some time. But, we finally saw that tonight. He said in the huddles, just guys were just talking about finishing. They were talking about playing tough defense and, putting the game away. They did. Defensively, offensively, really good, on free throws. Just made a lot of smart decisions. And you could just see this team just really grow up a lot tonight. We really came out of this feeling like they proved something, like they really showed what they've been working for, and what they've been trying to do throughout this incredibly difficult rebuilding process that they've had to go through. And it's obviously comes in the middle of a really tough 3-game stretch. They started with Maryland last week, and next they get obviously an amazing Kentucky team that's in the top 5 right now. Who knows just where those guys are going to go up. That was a huge win over Carolina they had last Saturday. Obviously that's a very young team and a freshman-led team to begin with, but we've got John Wall, Patrick Patterson, some real stars in this team, and obviously Tom said that's obviously going to be a difficult thing, but adds a lot of confidence for that. It's going to be at home, and it helps a lot. In addition, obviously, this win came in front of Bobby Knight. A lot of talk about that on the chat boards tonight. I think it was the first time since he's been fired that he's been in the gym for an Indiana game, and I guess I didn't obviously get to see what he said at halftime. There were times when he looked extremely uncomfortable sitting up there, but I guess especially going into the second half, he really praised him on TV from what I heard. And interesting symbolism there to be able to win a game like this in front of with Knight in the building, and who knows whether that brought him any closer to this program or not. It most likely did not, but at least gave the Hoosiers an opportunity to show the old coach and the guy that's still kind of the central figure of this program that this rebuilding process is going somewhere. So obviously a lot of interesting things tonight, a lot of stuff going on, and we'll have a lot more for you going forward. Kentucky on Saturday. We'll have some availability sometime this week. A lot to discuss. Obviously, a big, possibly program-changing win for this team. So, see where it goes from here. Thanks a lot.